All right. Wow. You are clearly fascinated by this Black Myth
Yeah.
Wukong game.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, look at the stack of articles and data you've sent our way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I might have gone a little overboard.
Something big is definitely happening here, no doubt.
For sure.
So, let's dive into why this game is making waves, going way beyond the initial hype.
Okay, sounds good.
We've got gaming news, reviews,
Mm-hmm.
and even this deep dive YouTube video breakdown.
Oh, nice.
Someone was really into this.
Well, yeah, what I find really interesting is that the excitement seems justified.
Okay.
It's not just marketing hype.
Right.
The numbers are genuinely impressive.
Yeah, that YouTube video you sent really lays it out.
Yeah.
Over 2.2 million concurrent players on Steam during the first day. That's insane.
It is. It actually puts Black Myth Wukong in second place for all-time concurrent players on Steam.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It launched with more concurrent players than giants like Elden Ring and Cyberpunk 2077.
That's wild.
It is.
And on top of that, it sold over 4.5 million copies across all platforms on launch day. Plus, it's got a 96% positive rating on Steam.
Pretty impressive.
This is unheard of for a studio like Game Science, who were pretty small just a few years ago.
Yeah, this is a studio that had only 7 employees back in 2014.
Wow.
They clearly struck a chord with this game.
Okay, so we see the hype,
Right.
but looking at the sources you sent, I'm seeing some deeper trends here.
Yeah.
What's really driving this phenomenon?
Well,
It can't just be flashy trailers, right?
Well, nostalgia plays a big part, for sure.
Okay.
Black Myth. Wukong is based on the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, which has a huge built-in fan base.
Oh, right, the Monkey King story.
Exactly.
Isn't that a pretty influential story, even outside of China?
Hugely influential.
Okay.
It's inspired countless works, even globally.
Wow.
Think Dragon Ball Z, for example.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of those characters and themes come straight from Journey to the West.
I see, but is it all just nostalgia?
That's a good question.
Couldn't this just be a well-executed action game that happens to have a familiar theme?
That's a valid point. But I think the way they've integrated the Journey to the West lore into the mechanics,
Okay.
especially with the transformation ability, shows a real understanding of the source material. Plus, the gameplay itself has to deliver, and it looks like Black Myth. Wukong absolutely does.
Yeah, from the trailers and gameplay footage, the game looks visually stunning.
Yeah.
And that combat, so fluid and engaging.
For sure.
One article you sent even mentioned the game is being praised for being a complete single-player experience with no microtransactions, at least not initially.
That's a huge draw in today's gaming landscape.
Right.
Where many AAA titles are pushing live service models and seem to be overflowing with microtransactions.
For sure. It seems like many gamers, myself included, are getting tired of that.
Yeah.
Craving a more traditional, polished experience. And Black Myth, Wukong seems to be delivering just that.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's dig a little deeper.
Okay.
That YouTube video you sent highlights some specific aspects of the game that are generating a lot of buzz.
Right.
First up, visual spectacle.
Oh, yeah. Even the most skeptical gamers have been blown away by the game's visuals,
Wow.
especially that opening cinematic.
Yeah.
It's a great showcase of what's possible with Unreal Engine 5.
The use of Unreal Engine 5, especially their implementation of Lumen for global illumination, really pushes the boundaries of real-time rendering.
It does.
You can see it in the way light interacts with the environment, creating this almost hyper-realistic atmosphere.
Exactly. It's not just about raw graphical power.
Right.
It's about how they're using the technology to create a truly immersive and believable world.
I see.
And then there's the combat system, which looks like it has a lot of depth.
Yeah, it's not just mindless button mashing.
Right.
The YouTube video breaks down how the game incorporates parrying, dodges with iframes, and a stamina system that encourages tactical play.
Cool.
You can feel the impact of every blow.
And from what I've read, the boss fights are a real highlight.
Oh, really?
Apparently each one is unique, not just in terms of mechanics, but also visually.
Wow.
They're like mini spectacles within the game.
The variety is amazing.
It is.
And we can't forget about the transformation mechanic.
Right.
Being able to change into different creatures mid-combat adds a whole other strategic layer.
And that mechanic ties back perfectly to Journey to the West.
Okay.
Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, is famous for his shape-shifting abilities.
Right, of course.
It's a familiar mechanic from other games,
Right.
but the way they've integrated it into this world is really clever.
So we've got stunning visuals, engaging combat, incredible boss fights, and a clever transformation system, all wrapped up in a familiar and beloved story.
Yeah.
It's no wonder people are excited.
For sure.
But I have a feeling this is bigger than just one game.
I agree. I think if we zoom out a bit, Black Myth. Wukong's success could be a sign of a larger shift happening in the gaming industry.
All right, now you've got me hooked. Let's unpack that in part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay, so you know those numbers we talk about.
Yeah.
Impressive, but they only tell part of the story.
Right.
What's really fascinating is how Black Myth Wukong seems to be tapping into a deeper shift in the gaming landscape.
Okay.
It challenges some core assumptions about what gamers actually want.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for years now,
Yeah.
the industry has been pushing toward these live service games packed with microtransactions designed to keep you playing and spending for months or even years.
And a lot of those games, especially the ones from big studios, end up feeling kind of hollow. Like the focus is on getting you to open your wallet, not on delivering a truly satisfying experience.
Exactly.
Remember that game we talked about last week?
Oh, yeah.
The one that shall not be named?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the irony is that Game Developer Magazine, you sent an article from them.
Right.
They argue that this live service model might actually be hurting the industry in the long run.
Interesting.
They cite a bunch of examples,
Yeah.
including Suicide Squad,
Okay.
where pushing microtransactions actually seem to backfire.
It seems like gamers are getting wise to that, right?
I think so.
Maybe we're finally pushing back
Yeah.
and saying we want complete polished experiences with engaging gameplay, good stories, and respect for our time and our wallets.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it's not just Black Myth Wukong.
Okay.
You sent over some info on games like Palia and Helldivers 2,
Okay.
which are also doing really well.
Yeah.
They offer different kinds of experiences, sure.
Right.
But they all seem to be focused on delivering a quality experience without nickel and diming the player.
It's refreshing to see, honestly. It gives me hope that maybe the industry is starting to listen to what players actually want.
I hope so, yeah.
But back to Black Myth. Wukong for a second.
Okay.
It's not just a hit in China, is it?
No, it's definitely generating buzz worldwide.
Yeah.
A big chunk of the initial sales came from China, for sure.
Right.
But you only have to look at the comments section of that YouTube video you sent to see how excited people all over the world are for this game.
It really does feel like it's capturing the attention of gamers globally.
It is. It speaks to the power of a well-crafted game.
Yeah.
No matter where it comes from.
Right.
Black Myth. Wukong is tapping into something universal.
Okay.
Something that goes beyond cultural boundaries.
I see.
It reminds us that quality and craftsmanship are what matter most.
Yeah.
Not just huge marketing budgets or complicated monetization schemes.
It's like this game is a breath of fresh air for the industry. It shows that you can make a successful game without resorting to all the usual tactics that have left so many players feeling burnt out.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And this is just the beginning for game science.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. They went from a tiny 7-person team to creating a global phenomenon practically overnight.
It is pretty incredible when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Do you think they can keep this momentum going?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Right.
Will they be able to resist the pressure to churn out sequels and spin-offs?
Yeah.
Will they stay true to their original vision and keep pushing boundaries?
Right.
Or will they get swallowed up by the industry machine?
It's almost like the whole gaming world is watching them.
It kind of feels that way.
Waiting to see what they do next.
It does.
There's this sense of excitement, but also maybe a little bit of apprehension.
I get that.
We want them to succeed.
For sure.
But we also don't want to see them lose what made Black Myth Wukong so special.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. Yeah, rooting for the underdog, you know?
Right.
You want them to win, but you also want them to stay true to themselves.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the numbers, the hype, and how this game might signal a shift in the industry.
Right.
But what about the game itself?
Okay.
The elephant in the room, the Journey to the West connection, it's clearly more than just a cool setting.
Yeah. You're right. To truly appreciate the depth of Black Myth, Wukong, you need to understand its connection to this classic story. It's woven into the very fabric of the game.
So for those who might not be familiar with Journey to the West, should we
Hi.
take a quick detour
Sure.
and explore what makes this story so significant, even beyond gaming?
Definitely. Journey to the West is a story that has captivated audiences for centuries.
Wow.
Its influence can be seen in countless works of art, literature, and even video games.
Interesting.
It's a story that transcends time and culture
Yeah.
and has a lot to say about the human condition, about our struggles and our triumphs, our flaws and our aspirations.
I love how you put that.
Oh, thanks.
It's not just a fun adventure story. It's something deeper,
Right.
something that speaks to us on a more fundamental level.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons why Black Myth, Wukong, is resonating so strongly with players.
Okay.
It's not just a technically impressive game.
Right.
It's a game that has something to say.
All right. I'm sold. Give me the rundown.
Okay.
What's the story of Journey to the West?
At its core,
Mm-hmm.
it's a tale of redemption.
Okay.
It follows the journey of Sun Wukong,
Okay.
the mischievous Monkey King,
Right.
who is sent on a perilous pilgrimage to atone for his past sins.
So he's not your typical hero then.
Not at all.
Okay.
He's arrogant, impulsive,
Mm-hmm.
and often gets himself into trouble.
Oh, no.
But he's also incredibly powerful, resourceful,
Okay.
and deep down capable of great compassion.
I see.
He's a complex character, full of contradictions,
Yeah.
and that's what makes him so compelling.
And he's not alone on this journey, right?
He's got a motley crew of companions,
Okay,
each
yeah.
with their own strengths and weaknesses.
Alright.
There's Tang Sanzang, the devout Buddhist monk who serves as the group's spiritual leader.
Okay.
Then you have Pigsy,
Yeah.
the gluttonous and lustful pig demon who provides some comic relief.
Nice.
And finally, there's Sandy,
Okay.
the stoic and dependable river demon who acts as the group's protector.
It sounds like a classic adventure story with a lot of heart.
It is.
Cool.
They face tons of trials and tribulations along the way,
Yeah.
battling demons, outsmarting monsters,
Hmm.
and overcoming their own inner demons.
Wow.
And through it all,
Yeah.
they learn valuable lessons about loyalty, perseverance, and the importance of working together to overcome adversity.
It's amazing how these themes still resonate with us today,
I know, right?
even though the story's been around for centuries.
That's the power of a great story, I guess.
Yeah.
In Black Myth, Wukong seems to capture the spirit of the novel
Okay.
while putting its own unique spin on things.
Interesting.
It's like they've taken this classic tale and translated it into a video game in a way that feels both familiar and fresh.
Okay, you've convinced me. If I'm looking for a game that will challenge me, entertain me,
Yeah.
and maybe even teach me a thing or two about life, Black Myth, Wukong is worth checking out.
I think so.
But you mentioned it's not for the faint of heart, right?
Definitely not. This game is challenging, but ultimately rewarding.
Okay.
And who knows, maybe playing it will inspire you to delve into the original Journey to the West novel.
That's a good idea.
It's a story that everyone should experience at least once in their lifetime.
I love that idea. It's like this game is a gateway to a whole other world of storytelling and mythology.
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing to think that a video game can have that kind of impact.
It is.
But before we get too carried away,
Okay.
let's come back to the bigger picture for a moment.
All right.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Wow.
The game's success, the industry trends, and the cultural significance of Journey to the West.
Right.
But there's one final thought I want to leave you with.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about how Black Myth, Wukong, is challenging industry norms and defying expectations. But what really strikes me is that this game, which is so deeply rooted in Chinese culture and mythology,
Right.
is resonating with audiences all over the world.
It is quite remarkable.
It's like this game is proving that we're not so different after all, despite our cultural differences.
You're saying that we all share common desires, common fears, common hope.
Exactly. And stories, even those from cultures that seem far removed from our own,
Yeah.
have the power to connect us, to move us, to inspire us.
That's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
That gives me hope for the future.
Me too. Because if a video game about a mischievous monkey king can bring people together from all over the globe,
Yeah.
then maybe, just maybe, there's hope for us yet.
Perhaps Black Myth, Wukong acts as a bridge between cultures, inviting players to experience a world that might be unfamiliar, but ultimately speaks to something universal within us.
And that's what makes this whole phenomenon so exciting.
Right.
It's not just about a new game. It's about the power of storytelling to transcend boundaries and connect us on a deeper level.
It really does make you wonder what other hidden gems are out there,
Yeah.
just waiting to be discovered.
Right.
What other stories from different cultures have the potential to captivate and inspire audiences worldwide?
Yeah.
There must be so much more out there.
So does Black Myth Wukong signal a turning point in the industry? Are gamers finally pushing back against predatory monetization and demanding more from the games they play?
Maybe.
Are we entering a new era of gaming where quality and originality triumph over corporate greed?
It's certainly possible the success of this game, along with others like Pilia and Helldivers too,
Yeah.
shows that there's a growing demand for a different kind of gaming experience.
One that focuses on quality, craftsmanship, and respect for the player. Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well,
It means that we are living in exciting times.
I think so.
The gaming landscape is shifting, and there's a real opportunity for new voices, new perspectives, and new experiences to emerge.
And it's up to us, as players, to support those voices and embrace those experiences.
Right.
We have the power to shape the future of gaming, one game at a time.
Maybe Black Myth Wukong is just a flash in the pan. A momentary blip on the radar.
Right?
Or maybe, just maybe, it's a sign of things to come.
It could be.
A sign that the gaming industry is evolving.
Yeah.
And that the future of gaming is brighter than ever before.
Only time will tell.
True.
But one thing's for sure, this is a journey worth taking.
I agree.
So buckle up, grab your controllers,
Yeah?
and let's see where this adventure leads us.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling incredibly optimistic about the future of gaming.
Me too.
Black Myth. Wukong has shown us what's possible when developers dare to dream big and players demand more. For sure.
Who knows what other amazing experiences are just around the corner?
I can't wait to find out.
We've only scratched the surface of this deep dive, and there's so much more to explore.
Absolutely.
Maybe you'll be inspired to pick up a copy of Journey to the West.
Yeah, great idea.
Or check out some of those other games bucking the live service trend.
Definitely.
Whatever you do, keep exploring, keep playing, and keep believing in the power of games to connect us, inspire us,
Right.
and transport us to extraordinary worlds. So it's like Black Myth.
Yeah.
Wukong is throwing down a gauntlet,
Yeah.
saying, this is what's possible. We've seen the success, we've unpacked the trends.
Right.
But now I'm wondering, what does this mean for other games?
Good question.
Are there more hidden gems out there just waiting to break through?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The success of Black Myth, Wukong, could be a sign that the industry is ready for a change.
Right.
But will developers and publishers take notice?
That's the thing, looking at all this material you've sent. Yeah. There are a few things that stand out to me.
Okay.
For one, Black Myth. Wukong didn't shy away from its cultural roots at all.
Right.
In fact, it seems like those roots are a big part of what makes it so compelling.
Absolutely. Instead of trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator, they lean into their unique cultural perspective.
Yeah.
And it paid off big time.
It did.
The game is a testament to the power of diverse storytelling.
It really is. And it's also worth noting that Black Myth Wukong is a single-player game.
Right.
A complete experience.
Yeah.
It's not trying to hook you with endless content updates or microtransactions.
That seems almost revolutionary these days, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's a bold move, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it seems to be resonating with players who are tired of the games as a service model.
Right.
They want something they can really sink their teeth into. Something with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
So are we witnessing a turning point then?
Are we finally moving away from the era of loot boxes and battle passes?
I'm not sure if I'd go that far just yet.
Okay.
The industry is notoriously slow to change, and there's a lot of money to be made from microtransactions.
Yeah, that's true.
But the success of Black Myth, Wukong, and games like it could be a sign that the tide is turning.
Maybe gamers are finally fed up with being nickel and dimed.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Maybe we're realizing that we have the power to vote with our wallets and support games that respect our time and intelligence.
And that's an incredibly exciting prospect.
It is.
If players start demanding more from their games, developers and publishers will have no choice but to listen.
Right.
We could be on the cusp of a new golden age of gaming.
Now that would be something, thinking about this trend.
Yeah.
What other games are out there that fit this mold? I know you've been following the indie scene closely.
Yeah, I have.
Are there any smaller titles that might be hinting at this shift?
There are a few that come to mind.
Oh, yeah.
One is insert game name.
Okay.
It's a insert genre game with a strong focus on insert key feature
Okay.
and insert another key feature.
All right.
What's interesting is that they've chosen to release the game as a complete package.
Really?
No DLC, no microtransactions.
Wow. And how's it doing?
It's getting rave reviews.
That's awesome. So it seems like there's a growing movement then,
I think so.
even among smaller developers, to push back against the industry's reliance on microtransactions.
Yeah.
They're saying we can make great games without resorting to those tactics.
And that's a message that I think gamers are eager to hear.
For sure.
We're tired of being treated like walking wallets.
Right.
We want games that are made with passion, creativity,
Yeah.
and respect for the player.
So where do we go from here?
That is the question.
What does the future hold for gaming?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Is.
But I think Black Myth, Wukong has shown us that anything is possible. It's given us a glimpse of a future where games are more than just products.
Right.
They're works of art that can challenge, inspire, and connect us in ways we never thought possible.
It's a future where games embrace diversity, celebrate creativity,
Yeah,
and put the player experience first.
I think so.
It's a future I'm excited to be a part of.
Me too.
And remember,
Yeah.
it all starts with us.
It does.
The choices we make as gamers have the power to shape the industry.
Absolutely.
So let's support the developers who are pushing boundaries, who are taking risks, who are creating games that are more than just cash grabs.
Right.
Let's demand more from our games.
Yes?
And let's believe in the power of gaming to make the world a better place.
Well said. I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah, thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the Black Myth Wukong phenomenon.
My pleasure. It was a really interesting conversation.
It really has been a fascinating journey.
Yeah, it has.
And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning of a whole new chapter in gaming history.